Hold up. What if I told you there's a European Union country where $500 covers your entire monthly living expenses? Not in some remote village, but in actual cities with modern amenities, fast internet, and yes, some of the most stunning women you'll ever see. Welcome to Latvia, the Baltic secret that has been hiding in plain sight while everyone else fights over overpriced apartments in Prague or Barcelona. Most people couldn't point to Latvia on a map if their lives depended on it. Sandwiched between Estonia and Lithuania, this country of barely 2 million people has somehow managed to stay completely under the radar. While digital nomads flood Portugal and locals get priced out of Lisbon, Latvia sits there quietly offering everything Western Europe promises, but at a fraction of the cost. We're talking about a place where a decent apartment costs what you'd spend on coffee in London for a month. But here's what makes Latvia truly fascinating. This isn't just some cheap Eastern European destination where you sacrifice quality for affordability. This is a full EU member with pristine forests, medieval castles, seaside resorts, and a capital city that UNESCO calls one of the finest examples of Art Nouveau architecture in the world. And somehow, nobody talks about it. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on this Baltic mystery. From the real cost breakdown that'll make your jaw drop, to the cultural quirks that'll leave you scratching your head, to the social dynamics that have guys from around the world quietly booking one-way tickets. This isn't your typical travel guide. This is an investigation into Europe's best-kept secret. The story begins in 1991. Picture this: after 50 years under Soviet rule, Latvia suddenly finds itself independent, blinking in the sunlight of freedom like someone emerging from a very long, very gray basement. The Russians packed up their tanks, the Communist Party disbanded, and 2 million Latvians found themselves asking, now what? What happened next shaped the Latvia we see today. Unlike other post-Soviet states that stumbled through decades of chaos, Latvia made a beeline for Europe. They adopted the euro, joined NATO, and by 2004 were full EU members. But here is the twist that explains everything about modern Latvia. They did all this while keeping their costs impossibly low. Latvia sits on the eastern edge of the Baltic Sea, roughly the size of West Virginia, but with half the population. To the north lies Estonia, to the south Lithuania, and to the east, the elephant in the room, Russia. That border isn't just a line on a map. It has a psychological reality that influences everything from the language you hear on the streets to the way Latvians think about their future. The country is split into 4 regions, each with its own personality. There's Cuisine in the west, where medieval German influence still echoes through the architecture. Zemgale in the center, Latvia's agricultural heartland where endless fields stretch to the horizon. Latgali in the east, the most Russian-influenced region where Orthodox churches dot the landscape. And Vidzeme in the north, home to Riga and the country's economic engine. But here's what makes Latvia geographically unique. 60% of the country is forest. Not parks or designated nature areas, but actual wild forests where bears and lynx still roam freely. This isn't Switzerland where every tree is numbered and cataloged. This is raw, untamed wilderness sitting 20 minutes from Riga's city center. The landscape tells the story of ice-age glaciers that carve out thousands of lakes, rivers that wind through virgin forests, and a coastline that stretches for over 300 miles along the Baltic. In winter, this coast freezes solid, creating an alien landscape of ice formations and snow-covered dunes. In summer, it transforms into endless white sand beaches that rival anything in Western Europe. This geography created a people shaped by extremes. Latvians learned to be self-sufficient during 9 months of winter darkness, and to celebrate like pagans during the brief, intense summer when the sun barely sets. They developed a culture that values silence over small talk, substance over style, and authenticity over pretense. Step into daily life in Latvia and you'll immediately notice the pace. There's no Mediterranean rush here, no Germanic efficiency obsession. Latvians move through their days with deliberate calm, like people who've learned that hurrying rarely improves outcomes. The workday typically starts at 9, ends at 6, and actually ends. You won't find Latvians checking emails at midnight or bragging about working weekends. Family remains the cornerstone of Latvian life in a way that feels almost old-fashioned. By Western standards, 3 generations living in the same apartment building isn't poverty, it's normal. Grandparents help with children, parents care for aging relatives, and Sunday dinners aren't suggestions, they're obligations. This family-centric approach explains a lot about why living costs stay so low. When families share resources, everyone needs less money. The typical Latvian apartment tells this story perfectly. You'll find modest spaces, maybe 2 or 3 rooms, but meticulously maintained. Latvians invest in quality furniture that lasts decades, not trendy pieces that get replaced every few years. The Soviet legacy shows in the practical layouts, small kitchens designed for efficiency, combined living and dining areas, and balconies that serve as extra storage space during the long winters. But don't mistake modest for uncomfortable. Latvian homes stay warm through winter months when temperatures drop to -20. Central heating is universal, insulation is serious business, and every apartment comes with thick windows that could probably stop a bullet. These people know how to handle cold. Work-life balance in Latvia operates on a completely different frequency than the rest of Europe. The concept of overtime exists, but it's genuinely rare. Vacation time gets used, not accumulated. Sick days aren't negotiated or guilt-ridden. If you're sick, you stay home, period. This attitude creates a work environment where productivity comes from efficiency, not hours logged. Latvians approach leisure with the same seriousness they bring to work. Weekends mean time in nature. Not expensive adventurous sports or complicated hobbies, but simple time outdoors. Hiking, mushroom picking, berry gathering, or just walking through the forest. During summer, entire families migrate to countryside cottages where they garden, fish, and essentially disconnect from urban life. The cultural mindset reflects this relationship with nature. Latvians trust seasons, weather patterns, and natural rhythms more than schedules or deadlines. They plant gardens based on moon phases, preserve food for winter, and structure their year around the ancient festival calendar that predates Christianity by centuries. This creates a population that values substance over appearance, practicality over luxury, and authenticity over trend chasing. Latvians will spend money on quality winter coats that last 20 years, but they'll look at you sideways if you buy expensive coffee or designer handbags. Their priorities reflect a culture that experienced real scarcity and still remembers what actually matters. Social interactions follow unwritten rules that confuse outsiders but make perfect sense. Once you understand them, Latvians don't do small talk with strangers. Silence is comfortable, not awkward. Eye contact means something. Handshakes are firm and brief. Personal space is respected religiously. But here's the paradox. Once you're accepted into a Latvian's inner circle, the warmth is overwhelming. These people don't have acquaintances, they have friends or strangers. The transition from stranger to friend can take months, but once it happens, you're basically family. Latvians will drive across the country to help a friend move, remember your birthday 5 years running, and offer their guest room without being asked. Now let's talk about Latvian food, because this is where your $500 budget starts making serious sense. Latvian cuisine operates on the principle that good food doesn't require expensive ingredients, just proper technique and patience. This is peasant food elevated to an art form. Start with rye bread, and not the dense, sour stuff you find in health food stores. Latvian rye bread is dark, moist, and slightly sweet, baked in massive loaves that feed a family for days. Locals eat this bread with everything: cheese, fish, vegetables, or just butter and salt. A good loaf costs about €2 and provides the foundation for a dozen meals. Then there's the fish. Latvia's position on the Baltic means smoked fish appears at every meal. Smoked sprats, herring, salmon, and mackerel get prepared using techniques passed down through generations. The smoking process happens slowly, over specific types of wood, creating flavors that vary by region and season. A kilogram of smoked fish costs around €6 and provides protein for several days. But the real revelation is how Latvians handle vegetables and dairy. Root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and beets form the backbone of most meals. But they're prepared with techniques that transform simple ingredients into something remarkable. Potato pancakes aren't just grated potatoes and eggs. They're works of art that involve multiple steps and specific timing. Dairy products in Latvia operate on a completely different level than what you find in Western supermarkets. Sour cream isn't a condiment, it's a food group. Cottage cheese appears in both savory and sweet preparations. Butter gets made locally and tastes like actual butter, not the processed substitute most of us grew up eating. The crown jewel of Latvian beverages is Riga Black Balsam, herbal liqueur that locals swear by for everything from cold prevention to digestive problems. Made from 24 different plants, berries, and spices, this dark, complex liqueur tastes like liquid medicine crossed with premium chocolate. Foreigners either love it immediately or need several attempts to appreciate its complexity. But here's where the budget magic happens. Eating well in Latvia doesn't require restaurants. Local markets offer incredible ingredients at prices that seem fictional. Fresh vegetables, local meat, artisanal dairy products, and traditional breads cost a fraction of what you'd pay in Western Europe. A week's worth of groceries for one person rarely exceeds 30 euros, even when buying premium ingredients. When you do eat out, the value proposition becomes even more impressive. A substantial meal at a traditional restaurant costs between 8 and 15 euros. Upscale dining rarely exceeds 25 euros per person. Coffee culture exists, but remains affordable, with quality espresso costing around €2. The restaurant scene in Riga reflects Latvia's cultural blend perfectly. Traditional Latvian restaurants serve hearty, comfort food in cozy environments where meals become social events. International cuisine exists, but gets filtered through Latvian sensibilities, emphasizing quality ingredients over flashy presentation. Street food offers another layer of affordability. Vendors sell traditional pastries, grilled meats, and local specialties at prices that make daily restaurant eating financially feasible. A satisfying street food meal costs around €5, making it cheaper than cooking at home in most Western cities. Local cafes provide spaces where people work, socialize, and relax without the pressure to constantly order. Nursing a single coffee for hours is acceptable behavior, and many cafes offer simple, affordable meals alongside their beverage service. But the real food experience happens in private homes. Latvians take hospitality seriously, and being invited for a home-cooked meal means experiencing cuisine that restaurants can't replicate. These meals involve multiple courses, traditional recipes, and ingredients that families have been preserving and preparing the same way for generations. Now, let's address the elephant in the room that brings many foreign men to Latvia, the women. But before we continue, we need to separate stereotype from reality, because both exist in Latvia in fascinating ways. The statistics are real. Latvia has one of the highest ratios of women to men in Europe, partly due to historical factors and partly due to male emigration patterns. Walk through central Riga on any evening, and you'll understand why Latvia has developed this reputation. But hear us what the YouTube videos and travel blogs don't tell you. Attractiveness in Latvia goes deeper than genetics. Latvian women grow up in a culture that emphasizes self-sufficiency and substance over appearance. Yes, they're often strikingly beautiful, but they're also typically well-educated, multilingual, and fiercely independent. The Soviet legacy created generations of women who learned to handle everything themselves, and that confidence shows. The dating culture operates on completely different rules than what most foreigners expect. Latvian women aren't impressed by foreign passports or stories about life in other countries. They've traveled, they understand the world, and they can spot insincerity from across a crowded bar. Approach with pickup lines or obvious tourist behavior, and you'll get politely but firmly dismissed. What works is genuine interest in Latvian culture, respect for their intelligence, and patience with their reserved nature. Latvian women don't open up quickly, but when they do, the connection tends to be meaningful rather than superficial. They prefer deep conversations over small talk, substance over flash, and authenticity over charm. The social scene varies dramatically by season and location. Summer brings outdoor festivals, beer gardens, and beach parties where the mood lightens considerably. Winter socializing happens in cozy bars, cultural events, and private gatherings where conversations can last all night. Riga's nightlife offers everything from underground techno clubs to sophisticated cocktail bars. But the real social connections happen in smaller venues, where locals feel comfortable being themselves. The club scene exists for tourists and young locals, but meaningful interactions typically occur in cafes, cultural events, or through mutual friends. Here is the reality check that many foreign men miss. Latvian women can spot desperation and ulterior motives instantly. Coming to Latvia specifically to meet women usually backfires spectacularly. Women who are genuinely interested in foreigners want partners, not tourists collecting experiences. The most successful relationships between foreigners and Latvian women develop naturally through shared interests, mutual respect, and genuine cultural curiosity. Language learning, cultural participation, and integration into local social circles create opportunities for authentic connections. But let's be honest about the challenges. Latvian women expect emotional maturity, intellectual compatibility, and long-term thinking. Casual dating exists, but it's not the cultural norm. Most Latvian women date with relationship potential in mind, not entertainment or validation. The cultural differences run deep. Family approval matters. Career ambitions are taken seriously. Financial responsibility is expected. Personal independence is non-negotiable. These aren't casual dating considerations, they're relationship fundamentals. For foreign men willing to adapt to these cultural norms, Latvia offers opportunities for meaningful connections with remarkable women. For those looking for easy encounters or exotic experiences, Latvia will be a frustrating and expensive disappointment. The secret to social success in Latvia, whether romantic or platonic, is genuine integration rather than superficial tourism. Learn some Latvian, participate in local traditions, show interest in the culture beyond stereotypes, and approach relationships with the same seriousness that Latvians bring to everything else. Speaking of traditions, Latvia maintains cultural practices that predate Christianity and somehow survive 50 years of Soviet suppression. These aren't museum pieces or tourist attractions. They're living traditions that shape contemporary Latvian identity. The centerpiece is G, the midsummer celebration that transforms the entire country into a pagan festival. On June 23rd and 24th, Latvians abandon their cities and retreat to the countryside for a celebration that combines ancient rituals with serious partying. Bonfires burn all night, traditional songs echo through forests, and beer consumption reaches levels that would concern health officials in other countries. But she isn't just about drinking and singing. The festival involves elaborate preparations that start weeks in advance. Families gather specific types of wood for bonfires, brew traditional beer using ancient recipes, and prepare foods that connect directly to pre-Christian agricultural cycles. Men weave crowns from oak leaves, women create elaborate flower wreaths, and everyone participates in rituals that honor nature's spirits and seasonal transitions. The celebration includes customs that seem bizarre to outsiders, but make perfect sense within Latvian cultural logic. Jumping over bonfires for luck, searching for mythical fern flowers that bloom only on midsummer night, and staying awake until dawn to greet the summer solstice. These aren't quaint customs maintained for tourists. They're serious cultural practices that most Latvians observe religiously. Throughout the year, other festivals mark seasonal transitions and agricultural cycles. Harvest celebrations, spring festivals, and winter solstice observances create a cultural calendar that connects urban Latvians to rural traditions and seasonal rhythms. Even city dwellers participate in these celebrations, traveling to family homesteads or organizing urban versions of traditional festivals. Folk music remains central to Latvian cultural identity in ways that go beyond entertainment. Traditional songs preserve historical memory, cultural values, and linguistic heritage. Most Latvians know dozens of folk songs and can sing them from memory. These songs appear at celebrations, family gatherings, and cultural events throughout the year. The Song and Dance Festival, held every 5 years, brings together 30,000 performers for a celebration that demonstrates the continuing vitality of folk traditions. This isn't a historical reenactment. It's a living cultural expression that adapts traditional forms to contemporary contexts. Traditional crafts continue as functional arts rather than tourist souvenirs. Latvians still weave textiles using traditional patterns, work wood using ancient techniques, and create pottery that serves practical purposes. These crafts appear in modern homes, markets, and cultural events as expressions of ongoing cultural identity. The connection to nature that underlies all Latvian traditions influences contemporary life in subtle but important ways. Seasonal eating patterns, natural medicine practices, and agricultural traditions shape urban lifestyles even when people live in apartments and work in offices. These traditions create social bonds that extend beyond family connections. Participating in traditional celebrations provides entry into social networks that can last lifetimes. For foreigners willing to learn and participate respectfully, traditional festivals offer opportunities to experience authentic Latvian culture and form genuine local connections. Now let's break down the numbers that make Latvia financially irresistible. The $500 monthly budget isn't theoretical. It's based on real costs that thousands of digital nomads and expats have verified through actual experience. Housing represents the largest expense, but even here, the numbers seem fictional compared to Western European standards. A decent one-bedroom apartment in Riga's city center rents for between 300 and 450 euros monthly. Move to neighborhoods 15 minutes from downtown, and prices drop to 250 to 350 euros. Outside Riga, in cities like Daugavpils or Liepāja, comfortable apartments rent for under 200 euros monthly. These aren't Soviet-era concrete blocks with shared bathrooms. Modern Latvian apartments include central heating, modern appliances, high-speed internet, and often come furnished. Renovation standards have improved dramatically since EU accession, and most rental properties meet Western European comfort standards while maintaining Eastern European pricing. Utilities at approximately 50 to 70 euros monthly, even during harsh winters when heating costs peak. Internet service, which is crucial for digital nomads, costs around 15 euros monthly for speeds that exceed what most Americans experience at home. Mobile phone service with unlimited data runs about 20 euros monthly. Food costs demonstrate Latvia's incredible value proposition most clearly. Shopping at local markets and cooking at home. A single person can eat well for under 100 euros monthly. This isn't survival eating. This means quality ingredients, regular meat and fish, fresh vegetables, and occasional treats. Restaurant meals remain affordable enough for regular dining out without budget destruction. Transportation costs almost nothing compared to Western European standards. Monthly public transportation passes in Riga cost 25 euros and provide unlimited access to buses, trams, and trolleys that run frequently and reliably. Taxi services, while more expensive than public transit, remain affordable for occasional use. Intercity transportation via bus or train costs a fraction of similar services in Germany or France. Healthcare access through the European Health Insurance Card provides coverage for EU citizens, while private healthcare costs remain remarkably low for non-EU residents. Dental work, optical services, and routine medical care cost significantly less than similar services in Western Europe, often with shorter wait times and higher quality care. Entertainment and cultural activities operate on a pricing structure that makes regular participation feasible. Concert tickets, theater performances, museum admissions, and festival attendance costs less than what most people spend on streaming services monthly. This creates opportunities for rich cultural experiences without financial stress. Personal services like haircuts, laundry, and household help cost considerably less than Western European equivalents while maintaining professional standards. This means outsourcing routine tasks remains affordable, freeing time for more valuable activities. The total monthly budget breakdown for comfortable living typically looks like this. Housing 300 euros, food and dining 100 euros, transportation 30 euros, utilities 60 euros, entertainment and culture 40 euros, personal services and miscellaneous 70 euros. This totals 600 euros, leaving buffer room within the 700 euro range while maintaining Western European living standards for digital nomads and remote workers earning Western salaries. These numbers create opportunities for lifestyle upgrades that would be impossible in expensive European cities. The same income that provides basic survival in London or Paris enables comfortable, culturally rich living in Latvia with money left over for travel, savings, or investment. The key insight is that Latvia offers European Union benefits and protections at prices that reflect its recent development rather than established wealth. This price differential won't last forever as the country continues developing, but currently creates extraordinary opportunities for informed foreigners. But budgeting isn't just about saving money, it's about lifestyle quality. In Latvia, €600 monthly provides access to cultural experiences, natural beauty, and social opportunities that would cost thousands in other European capitals. The value proposition extends beyond financial savings to include quality of life improvements that money can't directly purchase elsewhere. Transportation in Latvia reveals another layer of the country's practical advantages. The Soviet legacy created a public transportation infrastructure that actually works, combined with modern European efficiency standards that make getting around both easy and affordable. Riga's transportation system operates like a smaller, cleaner version of major European networks. Trams, buses, and trolleys connect all major neighborhoods with the city center, running frequently enough that schedules become unnecessary. The vehicles themselves are modern, clean, and heated during winter months when waiting at stops could otherwise become dangerous. But here's what makes Latvian transportation unique. It's designed for actual residents. Rather than tourists, routes connect residential neighborhoods to work centers, shopping areas, and recreational facilities in patterns that reflect how locals actually live. This means foreigners who understand the system can navigate Latvia like locals, rather than expensive taxi-dependent tourists. Intercity travel offers another practical advantage. Regular bus and train service connects major Latvian cities affordably and reliably. A trip from Riga to Daugavpils, crossing the entire country, costs around €15 and takes 3 hours. Train travel, while limited, provides scenic alternatives for routes connecting major population centers. International connectivity exceeds what most people expect from a small Baltic nation. Budget airlines connect Riga to major European cities with flights costing less than bus travel in Western Europe. This creates opportunities for affordable European travel using Latvia as a base, with weekend trips to Berlin, Stockholm, or Warsaw costing less than dinner in London. Cycling infrastructure in Riga continues expanding, with dedicated bike lanes, rental systems, and storage facilities making bicycle transportation practical year-round. During summer months, cycling provides efficient urban transportation while offering exercise and fresh air. Winter cycling requires more preparation, but remains feasible for dedicated cyclists. Car ownership in Latvia costs significantly less than Western European equivalents. Vehicle prices, insurance rates, fuel costs, and maintenance expenses all reflect the local economy while meeting EU safety and environmental standards. For digital nomads planning extended stays, purchasing a reliable used car often costs less than rental fees in other European countries. Ride-sharing services operate in major cities, providing convenient alternatives to car ownership for occasional longer trips or late-night transportation. Costs remain reasonable compared to similar services in Western Europe, though higher than public transportation for regular use. The transportation infrastructure supports the broader lifestyle advantages that make Latvia attractive to location-independent professionals. Easy, affordable mobility enables exploration of the country's natural attractions, participation in cultural events, and integration into local communities beyond tourist zones. Walking remains the most pleasant transportation option in Riga's city center, where medieval streets create intimate environments for exploration. The old town's compact size makes most destinations accessible on foot, while pedestrian-friendly policies prioritize walkability over vehicle convenience. This transportation accessibility extends the practical value of Latvia as low cost by eliminating the expensive mobility challenges that plague many affordable destinations. Unlike cheap locations where transportation costs offset housing savings, Latvia provides affordable housing with equally affordable transportation options. Latvia's natural beauty operates on a scale that surprises visitors expecting another small European country with overmanaged landscapes and tourist crowds. This is wilderness that feels genuinely wild, accessible without expensive guides or complicated permits. Goja National Park exemplifies Latvia's natural advantages perfectly. Located an hour from Riga, the park offers hiking trails, medieval castle ruins, sandstone caves, and river activities in a landscape that changes dramatically with seasons. During summer, dense forests provide cool hiking environments and river access for swimming and boating. Winter transforms the same landscape into a frozen wonderland suitable for cross-country skiing and winter photography. But Goja represents just one example of Latvia's natural diversity. The country's forest coverage creates opportunities for mushroom picking, berry gathering, wildlife observation, and backcountry camping that require no permits or fees. This isn't managed recreation. It's genuine wilderness access that most Europeans lost generations ago. The Baltic coastline offers another natural advantage that enhances Latvia's lifestyle value. 300 miles of coastline include everything from dramatic cliffs to endless sandy beaches, resort towns to isolated wilderness areas. Jurmala, the country's premier beach resort, provides spa facilities, cultural events, and beach recreation 30 minutes from Riga by train. During summer months, the coast becomes Latvia's recreational center, with beach activities, water sports, and coastal hiking drawing locals and tourists alike. Winter transforms the coastline into a different but equally dramatic landscape, with ice formations, storm watching, and winter photography opportunities that rival Arctic destinations. Latvia's lake region offers freshwater recreation that includes swimming, fishing, boating, and lakeside camping. Thousands of lakes dot the landscape, from large recreational lakes with developed facilities to small wilderness lakes, accessible only by hiking trail. Most lakes remain clean enough for swimming and support fish populations that make recreational fishing rewarding. The rural countryside provides agricultural landscapes that change dramatically with seasons and offer opportunities for agritourism, farm stays, and cultural immersion. Many farms welcome visitors for seasonal work, cultural exchange, and authentic rural experiences that connect visitors to traditional Latvian lifestyles. National and regional parks protect Latvia as most significant natural and cultural sites while maintaining accessibility for recreation and education. These parks offer developed hiking trails, visitor centers, and educational programs alongside wilderness areas where independent exploration remains possible. Adventure tourism in Latvia focuses on accessible activities rather than extreme sports, making natural recreation available to people with varying fitness levels and experience. Hiking, cycling, canoeing, and wildlife observation provide adventure opportunities without requiring expensive equipment or professional guides. The seasonal variety multiplies Latvia's recreational value. Throughout the year, spring brings wildflower blooms and bird migration. Summer offers endless daylight for outdoor activities. Autumn provides spectacular foliage and harvest experiences. Winter creates opportunities for snow sports, ice fishing, and winter wilderness exploration. This natural accessibility enhances the lifestyle value that makes Latvia attractive beyond simple cost savings. Access to genuine wilderness, clean water, and seasonal recreation provides quality of life benefits that expensive urban centers cannot match regardless of budget. Safety and healthcare in Latvia operate at European Union standards, while maintaining the affordability advantages that make the country attractive to budget-conscious travelers and long-term residents. Crime rates in Latvia remain among the lowest in Europe, with violent crime virtually non-existent in areas where foreigners typically live and work. Petty theft occurs occasionally in tourist areas, but even this remains less common than in major Western European cities. Women travel safely alone, even during evening hours, and street harassment is culturally unacceptable. The safety advantages extend beyond crime statistics to include infrastructure reliability, emergency services, and general social stability. Power outages are rare. Water quality exceeds EU standards, and emergency medical services respond quickly and professionally. Natural disasters are virtually unknown, and political instability remains a theoretical rather than practical concern. Healthcare quality in Latvia surprises visitors expecting Eastern European stereotypes. EU membership required healthcare infrastructure improvements that brought Latvian medical services to Western European standards. Modern equipment, trained professionals, and efficient systems provide healthcare quality that often exceeds what patients experience in supposedly superior healthcare systems. For EU citizens, European health insurance card coverage provides access to Latvian healthcare services at the same cost as domestic healthcare in their home countries. This often means better service at lower costs than what they experience at home, particularly for dental care, optical services, and specialist consultations. Non-EU residents can access private healthcare services at costs that seem fictional compared to American or Western European pricing. Routine medical consultations cost around €30. Specialist appointments rarely exceed €50. And even complex procedures cost a fraction of equivalent services in expensive healthcare systems. Dental tourism to Latvia has become increasingly popular as word spreads about the quality and affordability of dental services. Complex dental procedures that cost thousands in Western countries can be completed in Latvia for hundreds of euros, often with shorter wait times and more personal attention than patients receive at home. Pharmaceutical costs reflect the broader cost advantages that make Latvia attractive. Prescription medications cost significantly less than Western European equivalents, while over-the-counter medicines and health products remain readily available at affordable prices. Mental health care services, including counseling and psychiatric care, operate at professional standards while maintaining affordability for both insured and private pay patients. This creates access to mental health support that remains financially out of reach for many people in expensive healthcare systems. Emergency services respond quickly and professionally throughout Latvia, with ambulance service, fire protection, and police response meeting or exceeding EU standards. Language barriers occasionally complicate emergency situations, but most emergency personnel speak English sufficiently for basic communication. Prevention and wellness services, including regular health screenings, vaccinations, and health education, remain accessible and affordable for residents and long-term visitors. This creates opportunities for maintaining health rather than simply treating problems as they arise. The combination of low crime, reliable infrastructure, affordable health care, and professional emergency services creates a safety environment that enhances Latvia's overall value proposition. These safety advantages provide peace of mind that makes the country attractive for long-term residents rather than just short-term budget travel. For digital nomads and location-independent professionals considering Latvia as a base, visa requirements and practical considerations create both opportunities and limitations that determine the feasibility of extended stays. EU citizens enjoy unlimited residence and work rights in Latvia, making the country an ideal base for European remote work or business operations. The bureaucracy remains manageable, and integration into local systems happens relatively smoothly for EU passport holders. Non-EU citizens face more complex requirements, but still have viable pathways for legal residence. Latvia's digital nomad visa program allows remote workers to live in the country for up to 2 years while maintaining employment or business operations based elsewhere. The income requirements remain reasonable at approximately €2,800 monthly, and the application process, while bureaucratic, is straightforward for qualified applicants. Tourist visas allow stays of up to 90 days within any 180-day period, providing opportunities for extended visits and cultural immersion without formal residence. Requirements: many digital nomads use tourist visas for initial exploration before committing to formal residence applications. Student visas provide another pathway for extended stays, with several Latvian universities offering programs taught in English at cost far below Western European equivalents. Student status provides legal residence, access to student services, and opportunities for cultural and language immersion. Language requirements vary depending on residence intentions and visa categories. Basic survival-level Latvian helps with daily interactions, but English proficiency among younger Latvians and service industry workers makes initial settlement manageable for English speakers. Russian remains widely spoken, particularly in eastern regions and among older populations. Banking and financial services operate at EU standards with straightforward account opening procedures for legal residents. International money transfers, online banking, and payment card acceptance meet modern standards while maintaining the cost advantages that make Latvia attractive. Internet infrastructure exceeds expectations for a small European country, with high-speed broadband available throughout urban areas and increasingly in rural regions. Co-working spaces, cafes with reliable Wi-Fi, and business centers provide work environments for location-independent professionals. Tax obligations for residents require professional guidance, as Latvian tax law interacts complexly with international income and residence patterns. However, tax rates remain competitive compared to Western European alternatives, and professional tax preparation services cost considerably less than equivalent services in expensive countries. Cultural integration opportunities exist through language classes, cultural organizations, volunteer activities, and local hobby groups. Foreigners who make efforts to learn Latvian culture and language typically find acceptance and support from local communities. The practical considerations create viable pathways for legal, comfortable residence in Latvia for various categories of international visitors. While bureaucracy exists, it remains manageable compared to residence requirements in other desirable European destinations. Professional services, including legal assistance, accounting support, and immigration guidance, operate at reasonable costs while maintaining professional standards. This creates access to expert support for navigating residence requirements without excessive expense. The visa and residence framework supports Latvia's broader advantages as a destination for location-independent living, providing legal pathways that match the country's practical and financial benefits. So here we are, at the end of our investigation into Latvia, and the question becomes, is this too good to be true? The honest answer is more nuanced than a simple yes or no. Latvia's advantages are real and substantial. The cost of living truly does allow comfortable European living on budgets that wouldn't cover rent in major Western cities. The natural beauty, cultural richness, and quality of life benefits provide value that extends far beyond financial savings. The safety, healthcare, and infrastructure meet modern European standards while maintaining Eastern European pricing. But Latvia isn't perfect, and it isn't for everyone. The weather challenges people who need consistent sunshine and warm temperatures. The cultural reserve that characterizes Latvian social interactions can feel cold to people accustomed to more expressive cultures. The language barrier, while manageable, requires effort and patience for meaningful local integration. The small population and limited international connections mean fewer career opportunities for people requiring local employment. The developing economy provides fewer luxury services and entertainment options than major European capitals. The historical and cultural references that shape local conversations assume knowledge that foreigners often lack, yet for people seeking authentic European experiences at affordable prices. Latvia offers extraordinary opportunities. Digital nomads earning Western incomes can live very comfortably while saving significant money. Cultural enthusiasts can access rich traditions and artistic expressions in intimate settings. Nature lovers can explore genuine wilderness without expensive guides or complicated logistics. The demographic trends suggest Latvia's current advantages won't last indefinitely. EU integration continues pushing prices toward European averages, while international attention brings increased demand and higher costs. The window for experiencing Latvia at current pricing levels may be limited, making immediate exploration more valuable than future planning. For individuals considering major lifestyle changes, career transitions, or extended European travel, Latvia provides a laboratory for testing new approaches to living without the financial risks that make similar experiments impossible in expensive locations. The combination of low costs, high quality of life, Enriched cultural experiences creates opportunities for personal growth and lifestyle development that remain rare in modern Europe. The social dynamics reward people who approach cultural integration seriously. Rather than treating Latvia as an extended vacation destination, foreigners who learn the language, participate in local traditions, and contribute to communities typically find acceptance and friendship that enhance the financial and practical advantages. Latvia represents something increasingly rare in modern Europe, a developed country, where thoughtful individuals can create meaningful lives without excessive financial pressure. The combination of European Union benefits with Eastern European costs provides opportunities that exist in few other locations. Whether Latvia suits your specific situation depends on your priorities, adaptability, and long-term goals. For people prioritizing financial freedom, cultural authenticity, and natural beauty over urban sophistication and extensive entertainment options, Latvia offers extraordinary value. For people requiring constant stimulation, extensive professional networks, or luxury services, other destinations provide better matches. The investigation reveals Latvia as a legitimate alternative to expensive European living, with real advantages and honest limitations. The decision to explore these opportunities depends on individual circumstances and priorities, but the opportunities themselves are substantial and genuine. Comment if you're seriously considering Latvia as your next destination, and let us know what aspects of this Baltic mystery appeal to you most. The conversation about affordable European alternatives has just begun, and Latvia provides a compelling case study for what's possible when you think beyond the obvious choices.